In the 2000s, there was this European budget game publisher simply known as Phoenix Games. They released bargain price games in Europe on several platforms, including the PlayStation 2, the PC, the DS, and the Wii before going under around 2009. Little is known about them, other than the fact that their games were absolutely horrible, they don't even have a wiki page, and their website is now owned by a domain squatter who's using robots.txt, which means the site is no longer on the Internet Archive. Until around a year ago, they flew under the radar in the YouTube gaming community. However, after various European internet game reviewers discovered them, their games ended up gaining a cult following due to the sheer poor quality of them. From releasing games with titles and premises such as White Van Racer to poorly animated mockbusters of more popular animated films in PS2 game form, Phoenix Games has been a popular target of mockery among YouTube gamers, with the animated films especially becoming a popular mashup material source and becoming a pretty big internet meme on YouTube. One of my Twitter friends recently told me online about how he had a game from this company for the PC that had absolutely no information about it on the internet, and he even sent me a picture of its box along with the files for the game itself. Now, judging from the packaging, which proudly advertises its low 99 pence price, and the art style, which looks like something you'd find on a toy at Dollar Tree, it's clear we're going to be taken for a ride, if you know what I mean. Now, after playing around with the game files trying to make it work, I found out that the game is not a Windows game, but is in fact a DOS game. I ended up having to use Dosbox, as installing it on a 1998 Dell laptop with a Sound Blaster clone and a Pentium MMX processor gave me sound problems, as the sound would just stop working after a few seconds. Thankfully, Dosbox played the game's audio just fine. Now, the presentation of this game is absolutely laughable, with even the intro screen running at a very low frame rate, and it's unskippable too. And then the title screen shows up with extremely laughable music playing, and the menus feel extremely bare bones, and from what I can tell, there's literally only one cup. And you don't get an option to choose what the cup is either, because you always play it when you select it. There's no saving either, despite there being only one really long cup, so if you quit the game, you have to start all the way from the beginning. And as you can see here, look, the menus are unfinished. You don't even see who the racers are. It just says in the intro, but you just see this very bare bones screen. And in fact, here's the thing, this game feels unfinished when you play it. Now, let's talk about the gameplay of this game, because it's absolutely a mess. It really is. Now, when you play this game, you'll notice that there doesn't seem to be any text on the screen indicating which power-up switch, what your health bar is, and what place you're in. I mean, you just see a number there that says 1 through 8, and it seems kind of buggy too, because it fluctuates a lot, and it doesn't just change, because the whole artificial intelligence seems to stay in a pack when I'm playing this game. The lap counter, it only has 1 lap, and then last lap, because I think there's only 2 laps in the whole thing, and I can't tell if it was because they intended on putting more laps in, or what. Now, another thing that this game has that's really annoying is the health bar. Now, in the left corner, you can see there's a health bar, and it doesn't say health, it just looks like a bar, and you might be wondering what it is. Well, after you get blown up about 4 million times, depending on the level, or after, you keep bouncing into like cactuses, which seem to do more harm than explosives on this track, funny enough, it'll just give you the game over, but it won't even say like that you have to restart the race or anything. It'll just show your losing screen in the middle of a course. Like, it makes no sense, and it doesn't even give you any text knowing what you just did. Now, the graphics for this game are absolutely horrendous. I'm not just talking about the bland and generic art style that feels like a lot's missing. I'm also talking about the frame rate, which is pretty poor. And I mean, this game doesn't even seem to run at a smooth 30 frames a second. It seems to run at a very choppy, low frame rate. Even though it tries to emulate Super Nintendo's Mode 7, this game came out in what? 95, 96, I think it came out in 1996, judging from info I was able to scavenge online later. And here's the thing with this game, the graphics and frame rate are horrible. I mean, it just looks awful to play. but it's made even worse by the fact that the gameplay is an absolute joke. For example, one horrible gameplay mechanic is the fact that, you know how you have projectiles you can shoot in front of your car? Well, here's the thing. These projectiles often miss, but yet you have, like, the enemy, and they can, like, shoot all these fireballs at you that'll hit you, while all your fireballs at them will miss them for some reason. I mean, it's pretty broken. You can see it here in this gameplay footage as well. And the artificial intelligence is very inconsistent because when you get behind it, you'll find it hard to catch up. But once you get ahead of it and start throwing down like mines and bananas, you'll find yourself way ahead of the competition. Of course, you don't get to see how far ahead you are because there's no map in this game whatsoever. That's right, this game doesn't even have basic features that the original Mario Kart, which this game is clearly trying to clone, had. To make matters worse, unlike Mario Kart, which was targeted at the same family audience this game probably was, this game has you lose if you don't come in first. Like, if you come in second, you have to play the whole course over again, even if it's a long and hard to play course. If you even come in second, you have to play it all over again. But if you come in first, you win. So, you get to party just like this as your car spins backwards and you start partying as confetti only rains down on you from somewhere. And that's the thing with this game. This game just feels empty and unfinished. I mean, it feels like this game was just rushed out for a quick buck. But then again, isn't that kind of what Phoenix Games is known for doing? Because I read online that Phoenix Games developed most of their games in only, what, 3 to 5 months. Yeah, I think it was 3 to 5 months, which is a very short development cycle. Like, we're talking, like I said, not very long. Many games are developed in, like, what, a year, 2 years, sometimes even more. I think the only thing that's half decent about this game is the music, and that's just because they went with sound samples instead of, you know, MIDIs. But here's the thing with this game. The sound in this game is absolutely horrible. For example, when you're playing this game, there are very few sound effects. I mean, there are sound effects for the power-ups, but there's also, like, let's just say, no sound effects for your car. There's no sound effect for anything else. It is an absolute freaking joke of a game, really. And it's unacceptable for just about anything, and that's what I mean. It feels unfinished because of this. And one last thing. The controls in this game are unmappable. I mean, you can't map the controls to anything whatsoever, so you're stuck with the default controls the whole time. And of course, the game only supports the Sound Blaster, Sound Kart, and clones, so nothing else unless it emulates the Sound Blaster. And all that needs to be said is, this game's an absolute joke of a game. This game is not worth playing unless you want to cringe at absolutely how horrible it is, because it is straight up unplayable. It's a gigantic mess. I mean, there are so many things wrong with this game that it's just a nightmare to play. This game should not be played. That's all that needs to be said, really. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.